Let's face it, the media have never been more unpopular. In fact, it's not an overstatement to say that public distrust of the press is at the highest level of my professional lifetime. And this goes back quite a ways. And so we get it from conservatives, we get it from liberals, we get it from the president, fake news and all that. But some fascinating new figures, a study out today from the Pew Research Center shows what a partisan gap there is in the perceptions, even the use of the press. Now, some of that's not surprising, especially in the age of Trump, but this gap has become a chasm. I think a lot of this, not all, has to do with President Trump, the view of his supporters that the press is monstrously, consistently, regularly unfair to him, and the view of many Democrats, perhaps the press provides a line of defense against Donald Trump and holds Trump accountable and all of that. So let me throw a couple of figures at you. You can see all this at Pew Research Center. So when it comes to the sort of the watchdog role of the media, that is, can you count on the press to keep leaders in line? 89% of Democrats say, yeah, that's the press's role. We can count on the press to be watchdogs, keep the politicians in check. Only 42% of Republicans see it that way. Look at that. It's more than twice as many Democrats in this survey sort of believe in the role of the media as at least attempting to be holding politicians accountable for what they say, for what they do, to do fact-checking and truth squatting and all of that. Less than half of Republicans believe that, and I've got to believe that a lot of that has to do with their view about the way that Trump is treated by the press, and got to be influenced as well by the president's constant talk about the dishonest press, the corrupt press, the fake news, and all of that. Here's another, and by the way, this is a real evolution from just the beginning of 2016. Now, the primaries are just getting started. Donald Trump was one of 17 candidates at that time. It was almost an even split, 74% of Democrats, 77% of Republicans supporting the media's watchdog role. So that huge gap has opened up just in a little over a year as we have gone from Trump, the potential nominee, possibly, to Trump, the president. Another set of figures I'll throw out here has to do with whether the political press favors one side over the other. Now, Republicans have long believed there's a liberal bias in the media. That is no news to any of you. But look at these figures from Pew. Last year, again, Barack Obama's in office, beginning of 2016, Republicans were 20 points more likely than Democrats to say the press's coverage was one-sided. Now, with President Trump in the White House, 34% more likely. Republicans 34% more likely than Democrats to believe this is a one-sided deal. Now, this is a searing indictment, because how do you maintain a business that's built on the notion of fairness, that's built on at least the idea of trying for objectivity, if one side of the political spectrum, these are self-identified D's and R's obviously, believes that you're not fair, that you're totally one-sided, and that you shouldn't even be playing the watchdog role, and has no confidence in you to play the watchdog role. And the other side, while not necessarily throwing roses at your feet, has more confidence. It's kind of an unsustainable position unless you want to move into kind of a niche situation where you're only playing to Democrats and liberals, where you're only playing to the anti-Trump crowd. I hope that surveys like this will send a powerful message to my profession that we've got to change this to some degree. We've got to have we've got to have more balance, and we've got to have people out there believing more in the balance. There was much less disagreement on local news. When it came to national news, it even showed that more Democrats were consuming national news than Republicans. It was a big jump from 2016. Democrats trying to get all the information they can, probably because they like the anti-Trump narrative, and probably because they want information they can use if they view themselves as part of the resistance. And Republicans, I think, increasingly turning away from mainstream media, going to alternative sources because they have so little confidence in the news business today.